Hi, it's Andrew at Science for Seekers, and I want to talk today about the reason audit and why it's such an important tool in your truth seeker toolbox. So let's step back a minute. I'm a seeker just like you, and truth seekers have a lot of different paths they may follow to understand the ultimate truth. They may follow the path of art, they may follow the path of meditation and self-reflection, and they may also follow the path of reason. And the path of reason is a very powerful one because reason and science are some of the best tools that we know of to get closer to the truth. That's because science isn't just a set of facts that's static, it's a process that helps us continually understand what the world looks like, and it updates itself in the face of new data. So you can kind of think of it like this. Think of the scientist as a sculptor. Now, supposedly, when Michelangelo was carving David, someone said, "How did you make that? How did you make David?" And he said, "Well, I just took this big block of marble, and I took my chisel, and I cut away everything that wasn't David." Think of scientists as doing something similar, only instead of using a chisel, they're using the scientific method, and they're slowly chopping away the things that don't comport with the truth, and they're getting closer to the truth. So I call this a reason audit. A reason audit is using critical thinking and science to understand better how well your seeker path comports with the truth. So let's look at this in a couple of realms. So here, one seeker path is monotheistic religions. So for a minute, I'm going to pick on mine, Judaism. So according to the story of Judaism, the world is over 5,000 years old. And Noah took 2 of every animal on an ark. Now, obviously, these kind of facts don't hold up to a reason audit. Now, that doesn't mean that religion doesn't have a lot of powerful values to it and can't be very useful. It has important stories and myths that make our lives richer, but it's not a particularly good way to understand facts. Now, let's take a look at another kind of seeker path, which is what I call the natural remedy or holistic medicine path. Now, I'm throwing in here things like acupuncture, homeopathy, Reiki. So when you really look at these kind of paths under the reason audit, they also don't really hold up. When you really look at the rigorous science, most of these don't really perform better than a placebo. So those don't really make it very well under the reason audit. Now, let's look at another set of approaches, which is Eastern philosophies about mindfulness, or about non-duality, or about the illusion of time. Now, what's really interesting is that some of these actually comport with our reason audit. And that's because science doesn't always have something negative to say about some of these Eastern philosophy approaches. In fact, sometimes science goes in the same direction. So let's take time for a minute. So scientists have found that time is just something that was created within our universe. It doesn't exist outside of our universe, and there are no laws of physics that actually tell us about the current moment. Time needs an observer, and without an observer, there's really no meaningful sense of time. It's just another dimension. And that's a little bit similar to what you see in some Eastern religions about how the past and the future don't really exist. So to me, that means that some of those philosophies are interesting to explore more. And they may still accord with our reason audit. Now I want to say that reason is not the only way to get at the truth. Think of the truth as like an egg. All of the truth is like an egg, and reason is like the yolk in the middle. So we need the yolk. It's an essential nutrient in trying to understand the truth, but it's not the whole truth. So we need to combine that with other approaches to knowledge. Well, I hope you learned something today. I'm interested in what you think. So follow me at scienceforseekers.com or on Twitter at scienceforseekers, and I'll talk to you soon.